and we have a quorum. I'm gonna, if there's no objection, I would like to go out of order because I think Councilmember Withers has a time-sensitive matter that he would like us to consider. And then I'd like to come back and in the staff report, I think we're gonna do a call with Blue Toad about privacy. So, Councilmember Withers, I think you've got BL 2019-1664.
I think I do have two on your agenda.
Maybe so. That's the
One
first
is
one I got
for
to.
infrastructure in Casey, and one is for...
This one was just, oh yeah, sorry, let's go to BL 2019-1662 first. Negotiates and accepts permanent and temporary easements for the Creighton Avenue Stormwater Improvement Project for 7 properties located along Creighton Avenue and McKinney Avenue. I'll turn to you for a comment on the bill.
Just appreciate stormwater working with some of our neighbors on Creighton Avenue. I think this is an issue that probably, when a large number of houses were being demolished and rebuilt several years ago, could have been addressed at that time, but that did not happen. So Metro Stormwater came and discovered some of our infrastructure that is broken and has been for some time, and we're proposing to solve that and need some easements. So appreciate everyone working on that.
All right, I would accept a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Councilmember Withers, you've got that one. Now we'll do BL 2019-1664. And would you like, I'll read the caption. Abandons existing water and sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, fire hydrant assemblies and easements, and to accept new water and sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, fire hydrant assemblies and easements for properties located at 707 and 711 South 7th Street.
Thank you. This is for ongoing work at the Casey Homes for Envision Casey. We are, the very next building that we are building is immediately south of the Martha O'Brien Center. We're actually reconnecting Dew Street, reconnecting the street grid from where it was prior to about the 1930s. And this establishes, abandons some of the stuff that we built and establishes the new fire hydrants and things of that nature along the reconnected Dew Street.
All right, I would accept the motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Councilmember Withers. All right, now, returning to the top of the agenda for the staff report. And Courtney, you can set this up however you like.
Okay. At the last meeting, there was a request to talk with somebody from Blue Toad TrafficCast, which is the company that owns the Blue Toad software. I'm going to dial Paul Mistakawi, and he is kind of the regional person for that company. But before I do that, I want to make a couple of announcements. One is that the convenience center hours are changing. The biggest changes to the hours are going to be that all centers are going to be closed on Sundays starting July 1st. And all will be closed for 1 hour at lunch to ensure that employees have time for a lunch break. So that will go into effect on July 1st. We'll have all of the details up on the website. Tomorrow I'm going to send you all an email. We have been putting a ton of new information on the website, and we've been creating new web pages for capital projects. So for capital projects, specifically in your districts, I'll reach out to you with that information, and then kind of just with general information that we've been putting on there as well. The paving list is up on there now, information, kind of news items and things like that to make sure that you have that to pass on to your constituents.
Can I ask her a question?
Yes.
Have you guys fixed the driver's license requirement to take something to a convenience center?
I do not know the answer to that question.
We sent an email back saying that as long as it's a valid ID that has their home address on it, so it would have to have their picture and their home address on the ID, and we would accept that instead of a driver's license.
So what would that be?
If they've got a work ID that has their picture and their home address on it, if they've got, I don't know, some kind of a...
Passport card.
Yeah. And Tennessee...
Passport cards.
Passport
The passport
cards.
doesn't have the address, so it has the...
But I believe that the state of Tennessee will issue an identification card that has your picture and your address on it without having to be a driver's license.
No, they won't. You have to be lawfully in this country to do it.
Well, are they walking in with things?
I'm the one asking the questions,
Well,
okay? So
What I'm
I'm
trying-
asking
okay.
you that you accept other things besides the driver's license, because we don't want people to be throwing trash in Cane Ridge.
okay, and we will accept anything that has a picture and a home address on it.
No, it needs to be also like a water bill, an electric bill, something that shows the address of the home.
But then we don't know if that's the individual living at that
They can show
home.
you their passport and the bill, and then you can put it together, and that will tell you where they live.
Okay. Let me go back and talk with the people that are operating the convenience center and make sure that that's okay with them.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Talk amongst yourselves while I dial.
Thank you, Councilmember. Any other questions for staff before we jump into Blue Tip? Councilmember, any jokes? I'm disappointed. Sorry.
We calling in?
Yeah, probably has some jokes. Blue Tip.
I got a joke.
We wouldn't have counted your vote.
That's being concerned, sorry. No, just talking about there you go.
Hi, Paul. This is Courtney Stone from Public Works. I'm here at the Public Works Committee meeting here in Nashville, and you are on speakerphone.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon.
Hello. And Councilman O'Connell, I will hand it over to you.
Okay.
Paul, can you hear if I talk at this level?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Okay. The reason we are on the call this afternoon is because as this resolution has come to the attention of this committee, we've had several members express concerns about the privacy ramifications of implementation of this technology, and I'd be happy for you to kind of give a broad overview, and then I'd like to allow members to ask some more specific questions.
Sure, that'd be fantastic. So let me start off by saying my name's Paul Mr. I work for the company Traffic Cast directly. We're the manufacturer of the system called Bluetooth, and it stands for Bluetooth Travel Time and Origination Destination. The system was designed as a tool for DOTs to measure signal performance based on travel time and average speed between sensors. So the system uses Bluetooth MAC addresses as a unique ID. So every device in the world that is Bluetooth enabled has a unique ID called a MAC address. So everybody in your room there has their own social security number. Every Bluetooth device has a MAC address. So we use that to be able to re-identify it later down the road. So intersection 1, I see a MAC address. Intersection 2, I see a MAC address. And I'm able to do what we call matching. We're just matching a MAC address. Now, there's no database that exists that says, oh, this device with MAC address 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 belongs to Mike Smith. You know, and a good example I use is you walk into Best Buy, you buy a navigation system, you put down $300 and you walk out. So those devices are not registered to anybody. There's no database that has, device/owner. So that's the whole concept is matching that MAC address in terms of just determining performance. Now we also truncate half that MAC address, knowing that the probability of 12 characters, there's only one unique MAC address, in the world of that sort. We truncate the first 6. So you got 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, then you got 6 letters and characters as well. So, we tried to think of everything when it comes to privacy, even though it really doesn't have a database, but still, just to ease people's minds. Just to give you a sense of the technology, it's widely accepted worldwide. Just in Tennessee alone, we probably have close to 150 of these devices. Memphis, Tennessee has been using us for 6 or 7 years. They have over 100, maybe 120. Chattanooga has some. So the technology is being used, not just in Tennessee, but all across North America. We probably have 13,000 deployed. And if you care, Hong Kong just selected our system as well. So it's a system that's being used worldwide. But those are very valid questions, and those are questions we get often. So that's, in our software as well, the end result is a travel time and a speed, right? It took you 2 minutes and 12 seconds, and you're going 36 miles per hour. All the MAC addresses, it's in a database, and that's not easily accessible. Like the interface is just giving you results. Show me last Monday versus the Monday before. Show me the average travel time in June versus July. Tell me when the speeds drop less than 20 miles an hour. So really it was designed to be signal performance, real-time historical reporting. And just, how do we get those values is by that MAC address, but it's not available on the GUI. But it is in a database, obviously, has to be. Everything we do is in the cloud, so, we've been doing this now for close to 10 years, never had one issue, never had a security breach. Kind of semi-comical, there was a company called Bluetooth that had a security breach years ago. But that's not us.
That's an unfortunate coincidence.
Honest to God, trust me, I had the email going out that morning to everybody, and a lot of people got a good kick out of it, but that's a company called Bluetooth. They produce books or Audible books or something with Apple. Yeah, that's not us. This is a product named Bluetooth. The company's Traffic App. Never had one issue at all, anywhere in North America or anywhere in the world. So, open to any questions, but just hopefully I give you kind of an overview of kind of how it works, why we're doing it, and just, the world acceptance of it.
No, I think everybody appreciates the idea of how this could be used for improving traffic flow and traffic planning. I think the bigger concerns are in the mechanism of how things are being tracked. How is anonymity preserved, right? I know, for instance, Vanderbilt, one of our signature universities, has done a lot of work around making sure that as they capture anything from blood work to DNA, that they are keeping the anonymity of their patient population. And as somebody whose background is in information technology myself, privacy concerns are always top of mind. I know we do have some members who have some questions. Councilmember Roten, I think you've got something.
Yeah, I guess my one question was, do you ever receive subpoenas for either criminal cases or civil cases?
We have never received a subpoena to date.
If you received a subpoena, would you be able to provide Bluetooth addresses to the subpoenaing county or state?
Yes. It would be truncated. So we could search for the last 6 characters, right? But yes, the answer is yes.
So
you couldn't do it. See, the key is you as the user could not do it.
Right, but I guess let me ask a different question that follows up on Councilmember Roten's. From a technological standpoint, can you, those 6 digits, can that be basically reverse engineered to individually identify a given motorist, for instance, in a court proceeding via subpoena? Or, let's say anything from a criminal to a divorce, could somebody be individually identified based on those 6 digits?
Potentially. So let's think about this a second. We walk it through. If somebody had my MAC address of a device, maybe a phone, right? They had my MAC address, and then they searched the database to see a partial match, would be the last 6, right?
Yep.
You could make the argument, these 6 match 6 out of 12 on a device. I don't know how admissible that would be. You can argue both ways, right? But technically, yes. Technically, you would say, hey, these last 6 match those last 6. You can argue all day long, it's the same person, same device. I can't answer legally if that would pass the muster or not. But that's the only way you do it. Now, and I always think back to other examples. I had one agency say, hey, we actually like you having this in the cloud because technically we don't have access to any of that raw data. All we have access to is results, travel time and speed. So when somebody says, do you have the MAC addresses? The answer is no, we really don't. All we have is the reporting system. Again, I don't know how that fits for you guys. I'm just giving you just my experience with other agencies.
Councilmember Porterfield.
Thank you. How long do you all keep the raw data?
Great question. We keep it from day one. And the reason is we can go back in time. So for Mr. Hammond's, he wants to go look at something 5 years ago. So now we have the trend. We have all this great information to help him make better decisions. That's the key. Or he wants to do something different. Yeah, I want to look and see, how many people went straight and turned left or straight and turned right. And having that data allows him the ability to create reports on the fly at any time. And that's the whole idea, is to kind of, maybe he doesn't have a need for one report today, but in 12 months, you guys might be doing a project in the northern end of town, for example. And he said, you know what? If I had this information a year ago, well, there it is. Let me create a report. So we keep everything for that reason, just to give our customer the flexibility to have that report at their fingertips. And they might not need it today, but like I said, in the future, they might come back to it.
Councilmember Bednay.
Yes, hi, I'm Fabian Bednay. Thanks for being available to answer questions. How do you truncate the data? Is that hardware or software?
How do we truncate it? That is done in the field. So it's a software, it's a firmware. So when we detect it and then it's being passed to the database, it's being done in the field, and it's just sending off the last six.
So it's a software. It's a software that is truncating the data.
Well, the way we're detecting the way we detect it, we're only detecting the last six. So actually, it's a combination of hardware and software. So we never see the first six. How's that? There's no way. It's impossible for us to even get the first six.
Well, today,
The way the system is designed.
but somebody could, at some point, somebody could go and update the software and get the whole data.
Nope. We don't even have it. We don't have access to the whole 12
Yeah,
characters.
you don't, but there's the device. Will it capture the whole data if the software is updated or the hardware is modified?
Nope.
You're saying the hardware cannot be modified to capture the whole data?
No, it can't be. So this is very unique. What we're doing is very unique. No, it's been designed. We can't get the first. We can't get the first six actually.
You cannot change the hardware to capture all the data.
Nope.
I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, nobody's done it in the world. So here's the thing, and I don't want to we can get very technical if you guys would like. So when a phone or a device is paired up, so when your phone is paired to your vehicle, it's in a non-discoverable mode. So the phone's in a non-discoverable mode. And the way we've done it, this is all in-house. This is not off the shelf. We spent, many years and many millions of dollars developing this radio that's able to effectively detect only the last six. That's the only thing we see is the last six. So technically, we don't even see the first six characters or letters or numbers. And nobody's been able to do it worldwide.
Mike, can I ask Mike a question? O'Connell.
Yes.
Can we put a condition on the legislation that if they make any changes to the hardware, they will have to come back to the council?
You could. I mean, that would take probably a substitute to the resolution. And I don't know if there's we have deferred this twice. I don't know if there's a time sensitivity to, I don't know if you can hear me, if there's a time sensitivity to the execution or approval of the resolution.
I don't know if he would know the answer to that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if,
I mean, I think the last time that Jeff was asked about this in the last meeting, he was comfortable with the deferral, the one meeting deferral. I would have to go back to him and ask, if a longer timeline impacts this in any way. But I do know that the devices are in operation right now, so probably the sooner the better.
and let me ask a follow-up to that, Mike. If they are already in operation and this were to fail, what then? Then it's not approved. I mean, presumably they would be deployed. Yeah. Okay. Councilmember Johnson.
Yes, hi. My question is, I understand how the technology works, determining point A and point B, and you can determine the speed and volume, but how that technology will improve the flow of the traffic?
So it doesn't improve the flow. What it gives you is performance measure. It gives you a baseline. So when they make a change to signal timing or to implement a new signal plan or a new system in general. They're able to say what happened at 7 to 8 o'clock last week versus 7 to 8 o'clock this week. So it gives them a tool to be able to measure performance, an unbiased tool. They can say, oh, look what happened. We made a signal timing change, and we increased the average flow by 5 miles an hour. We decreased the travel time by 30 seconds. So it gives traffic operations a tool to be able to measure what they're doing. And what we've seen is, when they have that tool, they're more off to use the other tool to adjust the signal timing, knowing they can quickly see what kind of effect did it have on performance.
Thank you. That makes sense.
We don't touch the traffic controller either. We're unbiased. We're really independent of the traffic control system. But it's not the fox and hen house type of routine. At the end of the day, all we're doing is giving them really data, what's happening. So they can go look and say, you know what? If somebody calls and says, oh, it took me 20 minutes to go through this corridor. In reality, you can say, well, actually, it took 12 minutes. And yeah, you know what? You're right. It was about 3 minutes more than usual on a Thursday night at 7:15. Now you can go back and investigate what happened. Was there an incident? Do we need to change something? It just gives you really good tools to really fine-tune your signal timing. In addition, for traffic operations, you might want to know, you know what, when speeds in this corridor are less than 20 miles an hour, or it's less than 50% of normal, for example, I want to know about it because something goofy is going on. We want to be able to take action. So it just kind of gives that alert. That's the whole idea. It's really kind of, let you know when something is not normal.
No, I think, again, I appreciate the information that is possible to glean from deployment of this technology. I think for me it's more about, every time we make a decision like this where we're going to deploy a technology for the sake of convenience, and yet we sacrifice something that would allow the opportunity for privacy. Because let me also dig into this a little bit. I'm assuming this is going on the vehicle's Bluetooth devices, or does it do a mix of vehicle and mobile device?
It could be anything that we can read. It could be a navigation device. It could be anything. It could be a Game Boy. It could be whatever it is. We're picking up anything we can read, basically.
Got it. Yep.
Yeah, it could be somebody walking. Yeah, we don't know. Again, it's kind of anonymous. I don't know what it is, what that device is. And I can appreciate your concerns. I'm actually great questions. We take privacy serious too. I'm the same way. I don't kind of want people to know my business, right? We've done everything we could, to kind of keep that in mind. Right,
and let me just get as much clarification as I can, right? So you guys have the last 6 of the MAC address, and so basically if somebody were to either by legal request or some kind of data breach get that, they would still then have to have some other external resource to pair it with to do the individual identification?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Do you have anything else, Councilman?
No, I'm still going to vote against it, but I don't want to delay it. I'm not going to make a motion to defer.
You would prefer to defeat them to defer?
I mean, I'm just one voice here. Again, you guys know that I grew up under the dictatorship, so I get very finicky about privacy issues. The government used to listen to our phone calls. They will take our picture. I mean, we had really no privacy. So I'm not going to go down that road in the U.S. It just rubs me the wrong way. But I may be overreacting, so I'm just going to say I'm going to vote against this. And thank you for humoring me and getting this person to answer the call.
All right.
Let me just add one more thing. I appreciate your concern. It's a great question. It's a sample. End of the day, it's a sample of the total volume. We're not getting every vehicle or every phone or everything. It's a sample. It's 10%, 15, it varies quite a bit. But it's a sample. And that's really what we're looking for. We're trying to determine with the sample, what is that average flow, from location to location.
All right. Does anyone else have discussion?
Well, just
Yes, Councilman.
to follow up on your suggestion, I mean, do we know if there's a problem with either on the floor making an amendment or deferring it so that we can have time to do it in proper fashion to address your concern about if the technology changes, that it comes back to us?
Yeah, you know how in rezonings, we know who the owner is now, but we don't know who the owner will be tomorrow. What happens if somebody buys that company and decides to change some of the hardware and start tracking people? I know I'm sounding like a terrible paranoid.
Or their business practices or something.
Well,
like
and
that.
I guess that's where I come down to it too. I mean, part of me looks at this technological application and thinks, couldn't we have something that just did generic vehicle tracking, rather than base it on availability of devices and a wide scan, right? Like, there are ways, I mean, the old-fashioned way is to lay the rubber strip across the road and count that way, right? But I'm totally sympathetic to Councilmember Bednay's point.
Another question. What's
So,
the timeframe on
That's a
this
great
agreement?
question, because if I can make a point here, the issue with putting a tube across the road, that's just gonna count a vehicle.
Right.
So we need a way to re-identify that same, whatever it is, it could be a MAC address, it could be any type of signature. And that's really why it
Well, I mean, what I'm saying is I think there are two tiers of value or convenience, right?
Yeah.
One is just volume and flow, which does not identify patterns of individual travelers. The other is obviously the big data version, which is where you do, with some anonymity, also identify those individual travelers. And I'm saying,
Yeah.
for me personally, I'm content to just get the analytics off of what the aggregate flow is and not needing to know, hey, did this person come and go 6 times on this interstate today versus how many overall travelers there are. But again, I'm coming from it from the standpoint of watching this play out in technology.
So Berkeley had a question.
Yeah, Mac, what's the duration of this agreement?
So I thought your question was the time frame.
We're approving an intergovernmental agreement for forever, for 5 years, for 2 years?
5-year contract, I believe. Subject to renewal. I don't have the contract in front of me.
If it's helpful, we have no problem. Somebody made the comment that if we end up protecting all 12, that, we need to let you know. We have no problem with that statement.
So I guess at this point, and I have to duck across the codes for just a second, can I get either a motion to approve or to defer? We would attach, we'd probably substitute.
Okay.
Move to defer.
Yeah, yeah.
Second.
With the intention of amending to address those concerns.
We don't have a vice chair.
Who's the vice chair?
Angie.
Oh,
Who's the vice chair?
Sorry. All right, did we get a motion?
Yeah,
Yes.
motion was to defer.
Defer. For how many meetings?
one.
All right, we got a second?
Okay.
All right, all in favor of a 1-meeting deferral, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, we've got a 1-meeting deferral. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Paul, for joining us for this discussion.
And just to follow up, somebody's going to work with Mike to
Yeah,
craft
thank you,
language.
guys. I appreciate your time. And again, if there's anything we can give you, any information you require, please let us know.
Yeah, I will say to members, and we'll probably work with Mike to distribute this, if we have other questions that we want to get to the vendor between now and next meeting, certainly let me know. All right, thank you.
Yeah,
All right.
thank you, guys. Take care.
That gives us both that staff report as well as action on RS 2019-1743, which I should have done this sooner. Approves an intergovernmental agreement between the Tennessee Department of Transportation and the Metro Department of Public Works for general maintenance agreement for I-440 traffic operational deployment of Bluetooth Spectre Power over Ethernet, PoE, data collection devices as amended. We will take that back up at the first meeting in July. All right, let's see. We have... I think we're probably not going to have a consent agenda, so let's see what we do here. Bill 2019-1658 amends Chapter 1262 of Title 12 of Metro Code of Laws regarding shared urban mobility devices. Councilmember Elrod, do you care to make a motion on this?
Move to defer 1 meeting.
Defer 1 meeting.
Unless we want to talk about that tonight too.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right, we've got a motion to defer. Second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, you have your one meeting deferral. BL 2019-1660 approves the participation agreement between the Metro Water and Sewerage Services and Doug Simpson to provide public water service improvements for the Simpsons' proposed development as well as other existing properties in the area. I would accept a motion to approve.
So moved.
Got a motion?
Second.
And a second. My discussion is to ask Water, we've had this come up before, in this participation agreement, how is the funding structured?
The funding is structured that there is a portion of the water line, it's a 2-inch water line that'll be upgraded to a 2-inch water line will be upgraded to an 8-inch water line for Hill Circle. And there is a portion of it that will be shared 50-50 with, the developer pays for 50%, we pay for 50%. There's a portion that is exclusively for the benefit of the overall system that we pay 100% for. And I can tell you, we believe that this is a good proposal because the developer is paying for half of it, but actually the houses that he's going to build only represents about a fourth of the homes on that side. And this is this particular area was in our 5-year plan to upgrade this 2-inch line. We've had multiple breaks, and we can't provide fire service in that area, so this is a good opportunity to upgrade that line.
All right. Any other questions for Metro Water on this? Yeah, seeing no other discussion, all in favor, please say, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion carries. BL 2019-1661 authorizes the granting of a permanent easement to Harpeth Valley Utilities District of Davidson and Williamson Counties, Tennessee, on certain property owned by the Metro government. I would get a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Motion carries. BL 2019-1663 accepts new sanitary sewer main and a sanitary sewer manhole for properties located at 203, 205, and 207 Wellworth Street. I would accept a motion to approve. Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second?
Yeah.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion carries. Finally, BL 2019-1665 accepts new sanitary sewer main and sanitary sewer manholes for 27 properties located at 322 Wallace Court. I would accept a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? And that concludes the Public Works Committee. Thank you, everyone.
What time is it? 5:06.